God bless us for being able to receive that powerful music and that powerful sacred sound and be absolutely inclined to jump into and live from the theme of this month, which is the single-eye approach to life. And we've come to an awareness that as we listen to a single-eye approach to life, as we come into the awareness of, if I be single, thy body become full of light, we become aware this month that the single-eye approach to life is basically living with such intentionality. You've heard me say from time to time over the years that individuals are suffering from an intention deficit disorder. Individuals have very little intentionality. They just kind of get up and basically react to circumstances and situations that are happening in this flow of phenomena, but not necessarily having an intention. Now, the song Stretching Out is about living on the edge of our growth, development, and unfoldment so that our intention is to become better versions of ourselves every month, every year of our life, so that the individual that is here 365 days from now is not the same individual. There's been some growth. There's been some unfoldment. There's been some activation of potential. There's been some embracing of great possibilities that lie within us. And to live at that level takes us out of the stagnancy that many people live in, living the same day like Groundhog Day for their entire existence on the planet. Not you. You are here to have the single-eye approach to life. I am here to grow, develop, and unfold. I'm here to become the next great vision and version of myself. I'm here to embrace my potential. I'm here to activate my potential. I'm here to manifest my potential beyond status quo, beyond bureaucratic roadblocks, beyond business as usual that moves through the nation and the nations of the world. We're getting our orders directly from the Spirit, not from governments, not from potentates, not from dictators, not from politicians, but we're getting our orders directly from the presence that is never in absence. It's called divine intelligence. It's called divine guidance. And when one begins to live at that level, you're able to discern in the flow of phenomena what is real and what is not. And then you know that you're here to be a soulful artist to anchor the realm of ever-expanding good on earth as it is in the heart mind of the infinite. Now, this idea that if the eye be single, thy body become full of light is an awareness, as I've been speaking this month, on two levels. The first level is as we begin to understand that the body becomes full of light when we have the single eye, we're aware that we become lighthearted. And this lightheartedness does not come from the world of phenomena. This lightheartedness comes from our awareness of our connection to the isness, the oneness, and the nowness of the Spirit, so that we can walk through the world of phenomena and not lose our sense of joy, our sense of lightheartedness, our sense of knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly in our life, because our life is not determined by circumstances. Our life is determined by our perception, our belief, our conversations, our spiritual practice. So we have a degree of lightheartedness even in the midst of tremendous changes that are going on the planet. It also means that we become aware through our reflective consciousness that we are surrounded by a field of infinite potential and great possibilities. This is truth, whether or not you're looking at it through the lens of sacred mysticism or you're looking at it through the lens of quantum mechanics. We live in a field of infinite potential, infinite possibilities. And when the body becomes full of light, this is what we see. And our experience is then governed by the insights and revelations that we're pulling from the field of infinite potential, not being pulled from the sea of mental garbage, which are thought forms that are emerging from a sense of separation, individuals that are living in fear and doubt and worry, who are culling their particular thoughts from the world of effects, not you. You're not pulling your thought forms from the world of garbage. You're not pulling your thought forms from the news reels. You are opening yourself up to divine inspiration. Inspiration. Becoming soulful, creative artists that anchor heaven on earth. Heaven, the realm of ever-expanding good, you see? And when the eye is single, and we become aware that the body is an optic nerve, and when the eye is single, not only is there the metaphor and the prose and the poetry of the body being full of light, and we become lighthearted, but in actuality, being luminous beings that we are, we have a direct encounter with our own luminosity, the luminosity of our higher self. We understand the deeper meaning that we are the light that lights up every man and every woman, every individual that comes into the earth, the same light that was found in Jesus the Christ, Gautama the Buddha, Kuan Yin, and those who have walked the planet, who have opened themselves up beyond 4 dimensions and have not succumbed to being dimensionally challenged like so many people who are in stagnancy. The body, we become full of light. And I said every week this month I would share one of my own personal experiences of my foray into that luminosity, and the one that comes up today, I call it falling awake. There was a moment in which I went to sleep. I was going to sleep at night, and I suddenly fell awake. And I became aware that I was light, and I was traveling throughout the planet, going in and out of people that I knew, people that I didn't know, all around the globe. And as this light, I could see the light in all beings. I could also see their ceiling, the place where they were blocking the luminosity from being consciously activated in their awareness. And as I passed through these beings, I was offering prayer, offering insight to help them break through the ceiling so that they too could see what I was seeing about them, that they were light, that they were luminosity. And this went on all night. I went into the continent of Africa, and I could see the perception of the Dogon tribe. I could see that their perception was way more expanded than the average human being, and without telescopes, they could see the star systems, and they could see with their awareness way beyond what humanity has seen before the advent of the Hubble telescope and other telescopes that have come after that. And then as I began to travel throughout not the universe, but through the earth, being the light, there was a moment in which the sun began to shine in my bedroom, and I woke up. And when I woke up, I said, whoa, I'm Michael now, because I'd been everyone else all night. I'd been the light in all of these beings. And I said, oh, I'm Michael now. That's what I said that out loud. I woke up and said, oh, I'm Michael now, because I was aware that I'd been through all of these beings. And I say that to remind you that not only is there the dimension of light, where you become lighthearted, where you begin to be aware that you're surrounded by a field of infinite potential, infinite possibilities, but you become aware that you are that light, you see. And that light coming in direction is not a train coming in the wrong direction on the track of life. That is your higher self that you are now becoming keenly aware of and becoming activated in. And everyone has their own insights into this kind of luminosity. Everyone has their own way of feeling into that. But I just want you to know that you are light. You're way beyond your physical being identified merely as your physical body, being identified as the possessions you might own, just as you're not your house, you're not your car, you're not your clothes, you're not your shoes. You're not even the interpretation of your past experiences. You are light itself, you see, luminous and conscious. And your inner work of affirmative prayer and sacred meditation allows you to live from the realm of insight, in which you begin without eyes see this, and begin without ears to hear this. And so that as you enter into the awareness of the topic today, which is being all systems go, without any attachment to an outcome, I dare you to do that, you see. To live with all systems go, without any attachment to the outcome. This is to live moment by moment by moment, to bring your best to any particular task that you're involved in without attachment to an outcome, not attachment to whether somebody's going to pat you on the back, whether you're going to get a compliment, or whether you're going to get noticed. You know, as the Bhagavad Gita teaches, we are to work without an attachment to the fruits of our labor, you see? And so when we begin to operate at this level, that is bringing the full brunt of excellence to whatever we're called to do in any given moment, what begins to happen is you come into what I call call human interruptus. That is, you begin to interrupt and disrupt the mind chatter about success and failure that bounces back and forth in your mind, that has you attached to a future and having you anxious about a future. You begin to break that mind chatter, and you begin to be fully here, fully now, with whatever is in front of you, bringing forth excellence in all of the tasks that you're called to do. But you're not just checking it off your list and getting it done. Whew, I got that done. Whew, I got that done. Whew, I got that done. No. You are bringing the full dynamic of excellence to what you're called to do without an attachment to getting it done, just being in the moment, bringing excellence and love and the beauty and generosity of the heart and soul, which takes you out of time into the timeless, dimensionless space of the eternal, breaking into time as your very life and being. You disrupt the mind chatter of success and failure. You disrupt feedback from the projection of the future of your previously held anxiety about the future. In other words, you have levels of anxiety from time to time about what the future holds for you, but what we know, we don't know what the future holds, but we know what holds the future, and that's the present, you see. And so what happens is you begin to disrupt the feedback from the future that you've projected from your sense of anxiety. It becomes disrupted. And all of that anxiety that you've projected out into the world, that's coming back as a signal of fear that you've projected into that particular mindscape operated on by the universal law, you interrupt it and become absolutely available to more good than you could possibly imagine. What came to me in the earlier service, I thought about Star Trek because I am an original Trekkie, and I like all of them. But I can remember one particular, and I like Star Wars too. And one particular episode of Star Trek was a moment in which the Enterprise moved into this region of space in which there had been massive destruction of previous ships in the area. And they were investigating to find out why the ships were destroyed. And as they began to go to the other ships and look through the perennial black box, to look through the technology to see what had happened, they became aware that there was a rhythm that had moved through and destroyed the ship. So when they beamed back to the Enterprise, there was a small rhythm that went through. And Picard says, all power to the shields. Not all, partial. And when he put the power up, the rhythm got stronger. He hit more power to the shields, rhythm got stronger. More power to the shields, rhythm got stronger. And they were about to go to maximum power when Data said, no, don't, turn it off, turn off the shields. And Picard's like, what? We're going to be destroyed. He said, no, turn it off. And he trusted it, he turned it off, and the rhythm just passed through the Enterprise because the rhythm was only matching their defensiveness. It was matching what they were putting out. And when they went to the powerful defense into that expression, the rhythm was simply matching what they were putting out. When, in fact, you begin to come into moment by moment, giving your best in the moment without an attachment to an outcome, mind you. I dare you to do this. You disrupt the mind chatter about success and failure. You disrupt the feedback from the future fear signals that your anxiety has produced. And you come into a different state of awareness, which is what the teachings are all about. It's expanding your awareness of that which is real and eternal and forever. Thus, when we hear, many of you, maybe many years have seen that movie, years ago, may have seen that movie, Chariots of Fire, which was about two runners during the Olympics. And one ran, was really, really ambitious and really attached to winning. And the other loved because he just loved to run. Just love, that's how he connected with the Spirit of the living God. He had no attachment to winning. Yes, he did want to win, but his attachment was to what occurred to him as he was running. He would go into the bliss zone. He would feel his connection to a presence that wasn't an absence, the presence of intelligence and beauty. And the byproduct, the outcome of that was that he won, but it wasn't attached to that. It was simply running for the Lord. Or you may be aware of Brother Lawrence, the Benedictine monk that had went into very high states of consciousness, to the point where he did not separate his state of consciousness whether he was doing business or whether he was in contemplative meditation, whether he was washing the dishes. His whole state of awareness that he was doing everything for and about the presence that was never an absence. Now, if you're here for the first time, when we use the word God, we're not speaking about an anthropomorphic man in the sky. We don't believe at this stage of our evolution that exists. You see, we have evolved to the point where we know that this presence is a presence and not an absence. It's the presence of love and beauty and intelligence and life itself. So when you hear the word God, don't get upset. We're not talking about a man in the sky, you see. We're talking about a presence. But Brother Lawrence could see this presence in the bubbles of his soap when he was washing the dishes. And he approached everything with a sense of awe and wonder and reverence and love of the presence. And it had a very high state of this awareness throughout the course of his days. And someone asked him how he had achieved such an advanced state of consciousness. And he said, one day, I gave up all that was not he. That was the word he used at that particular time. I'll update it. I gave up all that was not the presence. And I began to live in the world as if only the presence and I existed. Now, he bumped in the unitive consciousness. He bumped into a state of oneness. I gave up everything that wasn't God. And I began to live in the world as if only God and I existed, until there was an emergence of the awareness that God was he, as Brother Lawrence, worshiping the presence everywhere. He was single-minded. He was living the single-eyed approach. He was absolutely out here with all systems go, without an attachment to the outcome. Now, understand, I'm not saying not to have goals. I'm not saying, don't hear that. I'm just saying that there's a higher purpose to your goals, you see. So don't hear me say, whoa, Dr. Beckwith said we don't have to have goals. No, I'm not saying that. Don't give yourself a fake escape clause. You know, as I've taught over the years, you know, there are tasks, there are goals, and there's purpose. There are tasks, things that you have to do. There are people that do tasks, but they're not attached to any goals. They're just doing tasks, you know, and that's like building sandcastles at the beach in front of a big wave. Eventually, they become almost meaningless. And then there are people who have goals. There are tasks that accompany their goals, but they have no higher purpose. And you may know a number of these individuals or know about them, that they've achieved great goals with no purpose, and they kind of sometimes feel empty. They feel like maybe they've gained a lot in the world, but there's a level of emptiness within them because there's no higher purpose. And then there are individuals that are purposeful-oriented, that have goals and have tasks. So they have tasks to fulfill their goals, but their goals are a part of a larger purpose. Now, what is your purpose? Your purpose is to reflect and to reveal divinity, to reflect and reveal the beauty of the cosmos, to reflect and to reveal the intelligence that's everywhere in its fullness. Yeah, that's everyone has the same purpose. We all have different missions, different goals as to how to reveal that purpose, but we are to be the face of divinity, you see, on earth. We're not dying and waiting to go to heaven. You know, we've evolved beyond that. We are dying to our littleness, so that which is at hand, heaven, that which is at hand, infinite potential, that which is at hand, infinite possibilities, that which is at hand, the love of the Spirit, can be made manifest through our thought, our word, our deed, you see. And so, as Brother Lawrence saying, I gave up everything that wasn't the presence. I let go of the content of my mind that would circumvent me seeing that which is right here, all of the power and all of the presence and all of the love. I let it all go and lived in the world Now, what if you lived in the world as if only you and God existed? That means you would see every blade of grass as God meeting you. You would see the ground upon which you're standing as holy. You would see the beings around you as luminosity, divine light, some conscious, some unconscious, but still light. You would see it differently. You would want to bow at the feet of the beings that you met because you would begin to nurture yourself to seeing that there's luminosity within that being, there's light within that being, there's Buddha within that being, there's Christ within that being. It's there, in there, but somebody has to see it, you see. And this begins with you seeing it in yourself by being out here with all systems go without attachment to an outcome. It's a dare. So I dare you to stop during the course of this week a little bit every day and look at what you're doing. Take your mind off of an outcome that you're attached to and just be with what you're doing and ask, how can I bring excellence to what I'm called to do? How can I bring love to what I'm called to do? How can I bring beauty and peace to what I'm called to do? Don't attach it to an outcome. Just as we announced that Brother Jamie is getting an honorary doctorate. I'm sure he did not have that on his vision board. I'm sure he didn't have that. Wasn't he like, please, God, give me a doctorate. I'm playing all this music. Hope they recognize me and give me it. He probably didn't. It was probably a surprise to him. His just generosity of the Spirit and writing music and singing music with purpose and meaning and inspiration, that was an outcome that he probably had no attachment to it because he probably wasn't visualizing about it. There's so many gifts that want to be bestowed upon you. You don't want to block it with the mind chatter of success and failure. You don't want to block it by receiving signals of fear from the anxiety that you've projected onto the screen called the future. We want to disrupt that and be in this moment by absolutely being out here with all systems go with no attachment to an outcome. Now understand this. There's a big difference between detachment and non-attachment. They are not the same thing. Detachment is, I'm not playing anymore. Right. I'm taking my ball and going home. I give up. I'm just not, no. Forget about it. That's detachment. Non-attachment is, I'm going full out, but I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm going full out, and I'm going to allow the outcome to be determined by the generosity energetic that I am giving moment by moment by moment. The outcome will form around that frequency that will be beyond my present paradigm, my present point of view. It will be beyond that. I could say the same thing about Akuyo Graham. I had the privilege and the honor last night of presenting her with the Spirit, the Spirit Award from the Black Women Lawyer Association for the great work that she's done with Spirit Awakening. She probably didn't even know that award existed, you see? But she took on our youth incarcerated in juvenile hall. She had a higher purpose. Yes, she's a great actor. She had a higher purpose. Yes, she's a wonderful practitioner. But she saw our youth. She's from Africa, so she didn't know that America has the largest lockdown of kids in the world. We're number one in locking up our children. She didn't know that. But when she saw it, another purpose emerged. Somebody's got to see the truth about these kids. Somebody's got to see something beyond criminality and the mistakes that they made. And she took it upon herself and had this great vision of Spirit Awakening, and thus has been in the juvenile system now for a number of years, bringing these kids back to their soul, real soul retrieval, bringing them back to who and what they really are, you see. And the outcome? Awards, she's being applauded, there's wonderful things happening for her, but she didn't do it for any of that. She found a purpose beyond her little self, you see. And so today, I'm inviting you. Doesn't matter what the task is. Just sometime during your day, stop whatever it is you're doing and notice if there's an attachment to an outcome. Yes, of course, you want to get whatever it is that you're doing. You want to complete it. You want to get it done. But you don't want to have a check it off consciousness. You want to have the consciousness of love and excellence to the best of your ability. And some days, your best is better than other days. But if you use it as a practice, then the outcome will again be beyond your limited perception, and you will be shocked and surprised by the good that is trying to happen in your life. Because His presence is everywhere. What does it need? It needs an opening. And so this presence wants two things from you. This presence wants to be known, and this presence wants to be expressed. That's what it wants. Those are the two things. You can read all kinds of theology about God and all of that, but it comes down to this. The presence wants to be known. That's why you pray and meditate, not to change God's mind, but to get your own mind in alignment with the presence. It wants to be known. You want to know it. And it wants to be expressed. That's your purpose, you see. So as we live that way, these are very simple things that I'm saying to you this morning. But it's incumbent upon all of us to have just a teensy-weensy little bit more practice. Wherever we are, we just practice a little bit more. And here's the deal. When you have an insight and a revelation about the nature of reality, that little, what you think is a little insight is really big because the presence doesn't know quantity because it's everywhere and it's encompassing everything, but it does know quality. And when you have a little bit of an insight, it changes the trajectory of your life. The ramifications are massive. And you'll live a free life. So stop complaining about what you have to do. As Walter Russell reminds us, he once said, I prayed to love what I had to do. Take that on. And then bring your full attention to bear in this moment excellence. All systems go. No attachment to an outcome, not detached. I have no attachment to an outcome. So the outcome is formed by the universal presence, its law matching my frequency. Not of anxiety, but of freedom and love and beauty and abundance. Even now, I feel it in my bones. Woo! I love what I get to do. And you realize I've been getting to do this about 35 years. I mean, I started at 37, okay? So I don't even know how anyone does anything for 35 years unless you're not really checking it off. You're just in the moment with it. And you look up, 10 years has gone by, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I have no relationship to time. I'm now with you in the presence. Loving. I'm having a love affair with the presence in public. Setting myself on fire so you can come watch me burn. That way you burn away the dross of the sense of separation. Woo-wee. And then what do? We get to celebrate. Watch this individual that sent in this visual, this video. Celebrate. Dance with the rest.
Love is love forever, live true and dance.
Magdalena Curtis.
Love is love forever, live true and dance free.
Magdalena, come on now, give us some channel.
Love is love forever, live true and dance free. You must dance free, you must dance. Love is love forever, live true and dance free.
Feel the celebration.
Yeah, yeah.
You're touching the cosmic celebration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not, the universal presence is not in agony. That's Magdalena. Give her some love. You know how to chat her up. Tell her thank you so much for sending in that visual. Because what is she doing? Just by watching somebody love the presence and move to the presence and love the presence like that, it changes our own chemical nature. We start producing great tonic chemicals. Endorphins start to flow through the temple. We slow down the aging process. Coherence of the brain begins to happen. We become more available to divine revelation and insight, divine wisdom and transformational knowledge. Something as simple as Nataraj dancing. God is dancer, you see. And so what do we want to do? We want to lift up our attention. We want to live and lift ourselves up to a higher awareness of love, more expanded awareness of love. Let's rock it. Let's do this. We got a couple of dancers coming out. You can send us a video.
Than I've ever been lifted before. Keep it up, quench my desire. I'll be at your side forevermore. You know God loves, your love keeps lifting me, keeps on lifting me, lifting me. God's love lifts me higher, higher. You know God loves, your love keeps lifting me, yeah, lifting. Lifting me, God's love lifts me higher, higher.
Got worried, I was downhearted. Come on. Disappointment was my closest friend. But Spirit came, and it soon departed. And it never showed its face again. That's why God's love,
your love keeps lifting me.
keeps on lifting.
On lifting me, lifting me. God love keeps me higher, higher.
You know God's love,
your love keeps lifting me,
keeps on lifting me,
keeps on lifting me, lifting me. God's love lifts me higher, higher.
That's right.
the manna from heaven. This is our daily bread. Moment by moment. God's love lifting us higher. God's love keeps lifting me. Keeps on lifting me. Lifting me. God's love lifts me higher. Feel it in your bones. Feel it in your soul. And now with this expanded awareness, we've got a joyful purpose. There are individuals who want to borrow our consciousness for prayer. They don't have to pay us back either. All they got to do is reveal the wholeness that's intrinsically theirs. As you close your outer eye for a moment and hear the song in your mind for a moment that God has the whole world in his hands, that's through us. The presence of God has the whole world in its vibrational hands. Through us, we're embracing the whole planet, all sentient beings in prayer right now. Everything that's going on, that's swirling around, it's just a phenomenal world emanating from stages and states of consciousness and thought forms, but there's something real back of all of it. Woo! Reverend Joanne, you might as well make your way on up here now. There's something real back of all of it. A presence that wants to be known and expressed beyond prejudice, beyond preconceived ideas, beyond opinions, positionalities, and points of view. This presence wants to be known as expanded awareness of the presence. And with this moment by moment daily bread, we are fulfilled. We're not living a life of fulfillment. We're living a life of fulfillment. Reverend Joanne, come on now, give us that prayer.
Fill me
Jennifer.
up, Lord. Fill me up. Woo! Let me be a container that is full of the sacred drink. Dawash Meya Nith Kadash Shma. Our Papa, our Daddy. You're in the heavens. You are everywhere. Heavens are everywhere, even here and for show now. Your name is kosher. Your name is sacred. Just to hear what you sound like changes everything. And because there's only one name on this earth, only one presence, we sharing in that name. There's a name, a sound, an expression of the Lord that rings throughout all the heavens, the heaven within and the heaven without. Let your kingdom come. Let your kingdom come and let your will, let your inclination, let your desire, it's your desire, be in equal measure in the heavens the same way it is upon this earth. Upon this earth called my heart, upon this earth called my spirit, upon this earth called my soul, upon this earth called Agape, upon this earth, Woo! Hey, Lord, you so good. You is so good. You the too sweet of the too sweet. Sweet, naturally, the heavenly nectar that provides us our needful bread every day. Every day we got the bread of life to eat, to be sustained by. Awun, the Washmaya Nith Kadash Shmach. My my Lord, you is everywhere. And everywhere is right here and is right now. Oh, I'm so grateful and thankful. And I'm so thankful and I'm grateful. I'm thankful and grateful and grateful and thankful that the name, that the sound of you is the sound of each and every one of you within my voice. Oh, come and be inside the voice of God. Once upon a time, a man named Yeshua, he too heard a voice, and it called him to his destiny. Let the voice of God call you right now to your destiny. You got a destiny with oneness. You got a destiny with unity. You got a destiny with wholeness. Oh, something's going into remission right now. Something just done went into remission right now. Oh, something done went into bafflication. It's something that baffled the doctors about you today. They don't know what happened. You just got healed and you done baffled us. Oh, Lord, you's a baffling God with your wholeness, with your spirit, with your generosity. Oh, I'm calling upon you, Lord. I'm calling through you. Let my life be the evidence. My life is the evidence.
That's it right there. That's it.
Your life, my life. The one life is the evidence that there's only one presence here, and this presenting is presenting itself even now.
Even now.
And so I let this thing go. I done spoke a word. I done spoke a word over our lives.
Yes.
I'm Brother Lawrence. I could be praying or washing the dishes. Either way, it's the same touch of God. Oh, there is an incontrovertible touch of God, and once it done happened to you, you can't unget touched.
That's it.
You can't be untouched once the Lord done touched you. Oh, you touched already, but now you touched consciously, and that's all of it. And so let my life, let your life be the evidence that you are the very breath of God. The same one breath that God exhaled and sighed into Adam is the same breath that's in you right now. There's only one breath, there's only one life, there's only one spirit, there's only one healing, there's only one healer. Oh, we are in on it. And as my grandmother used to say, child, Lord, I is so glad. I'm so glad about it. I'm so glad about it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And so I'm going to let this thing go. I'm going to pass it on back to my reverend brother, friend, for, at least 35 years. We prayed and laughed and loved God together. Oh, I'm turning it over. I'm turning it over. I'm saying an amen. 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 And amen means the thing I just said, you're going to watch me live it. The thing I just said, the prayer I just repeated, the prayer I just declared, it is a lived life. I'm a lived life. I ain't a thought about life.
That's it.
Woo. And so I let it go. And I pass it back to my sweet brother, to my friend in the Lord, the great law of life. Oh, as we go from glory to greater glory.
Greater glory right now.
Belongs to you. The kingdom, the worship, the power, the capacity to live it. Ooh, and the very song and praise. That's glory. Song and the praise. Oh, I'm so grateful. And I pass. And I pass. And I pass. I pass. I pass. I pass. And as I pass, I receive. And as I receive, I pass. I pass. I pass. I done pass. Oh, pass.
Feel it in your bones right now. You hear those voices? They're full to overflowing with the Spirit of God. Heard Reverend Joanne, filled to overflowing. The Spirit of the living God. Seen our Agape Global Choir, filled to overflowing. The Spirit of the living God. What about you? Feel it. Sing it.
We know that
We're leaning and letting go